prior to the start of the war, many analysts have suggested that if the Aburi Accord had been implemented, the tragedy of the Civil War might have been averted, and they blame you for reneging on that Aburi Accord. Is that how you see it? Did your government renege on the Aburi Accord?
Well, I think that is the interpretation. That we don't know whether that accord was, the actual final result written from it was not to be done until after we got home.
But you agreed to the accord when you were in Gath.
No, this is the accord. It is not a question of agreement in accord. Yes, it is when we come back home, and I made a statement. When you come back home, and I make a statement that you about Aburi.
Right. Because that's why it was called an accord. Yes. An accord means that you had agreed.
No, accord. But then it has to be done in Nigeria before Friday.
So you needed to come home and discuss it.
Unfortunately, when the first people didn't want to believe it, I was having a serious attack of either fever or whatever it is, and I could not make any decision.
At
home.
Right.
When we arrived in a home, and Tojuku was the one who then, when he came, he went and made made the statement. He made the statement. About the Aburi Accord.
Just tell me, what could have been more dangerous than this? In the heat of Nigeria's most critical political crisis, when the fate of a United Nations hung by a thread, two men stood at the center of history. The Aburi Accord, held in faraway Ghana, was supposed to be the handshake that would have saved Nigeria from civil war. Yet, just days later, it all fell apart. But what really happened after that historic meeting? Why was the agreement never fully honored? And here's the twist. General Yakubu Gowon later said he couldn't make the crucial public announcement about the Aburi Accord because he had a malaria fever. Yes, you heard that right. Fever. At the height of the nation's crisis, as Nigeria teetered on the brink of collapse, Gowon claims that a severe attack of malaria prevented him from addressing the nation as promised, leaving the media space wide open for Ojukwu to set the narrative and lay the groundwork for what would become a bloody civil war. A simple question: was this a genuine illness or a strategic silence? Today, we are diving deep into this explosive moment in Nigeria's history, examining Gowon's claim of fever and what the Aburi Accord really said, how Ojukwu also responded, and why this missed speech changed everything into the horrific mystery. Grab a seat, hit that like button, and let's unravel the story behind the sickness that may have helped start a war. So, I know many are left with the question of what really caused the Nigerian Civil War, the untold breakdown of a nation. The Nigerian Civil War wasn't just a conflict between two sides. It was a result of a broken trust, ethnic tension, political missteps, and a nation still struggling to define itself after independence. That is, shortly after independence. But what exactly caused the war that took over 3 million lives? Today, we'll break it down fact by fact. Great question. Why was the Aburi Accord held? And what was really discussed in that Aburi Accord? Let's dive deep into this very history. By late 1966, Nigeria was in deep crisis following, first, 2 bloody military coups. Secondly, the assassination of top political and military leaders. Thirdly, massive anti-Igbo massacres in the north. Fourth, the complete breakdown of trust between the federal government and the eastern region led by Chukwuemeka Ojukwu. So in this sense, there was growing fear of secession by the east and a looming civil war. To prevent total collapse, the Supreme Military Council, the ruling body at the time, agreed to meet outside Nigeria, that is in Ghana, a place called Aburi. So what was discussed at Aburi Accord? The discussions centered on restoring trust, restructuring Nigeria, and preventing war. Here are the key points. The first was structure of government. Ojukwu pushed for a loose confederation where each region would control its own affairs, be it military, economy, or in governance. So Gowon, on the other hand, agreed to decentralize power, though not as drastic as Ojukwu wanted. Then in the agreement, each region would have greater autonomy. The federal system would be restructured to allow regional control over internal matters. Secondly is the control of armed forces. Due to mistrust, Ojukwu demanded that no region should send troops into another without approval. Each military governor would control troops within their region. That is what Ojukwu wanted. Then in the agreement, the federal army would be decentralized and officers who had fled during the crisis could return safely to their regions. Then thirdly is the reversal of centralizing decrees. Ojukwu opposed decrees number 33 and 34, which abolished the regional structure and centralized government power under Gowon. So in the agreement, those decrees would be reversed and the regions would retain constitutional powers. Number 4, unanimous decision making. So it was agreed that Supreme Military Council would only take action if all members agree. No region could be overruled unilaterally. Number 5, also repatriation and rehabilitation was also discussed. Thousands of Easterners who fled other regions needed help. In the agreement, there would be compensation and safety guarantees for displaced persons, mainly Igbos who fled northern Nigeria. Moving forward, why did this Aburi Accord fail? After returning to Lagos, Gowon and the federal government hesitated to implement the agreement as Ojukwu interpreted them. They claimed the Aburi's decision would paralyze the central government. Gowon issued Decree number 8, which Ojukwu saw as betrayal of the accord. This excuse was at that time, but today we're having it that Gowon is citing that he could not implement or make a public statement because of malaria fever. So this transited into Ojukwu then declaring the Republic of Biafra on May 30th, 1967. So in real sense, the Aburi Accord was not just a meeting, it was a moment of clarity in times of chaos. It brought Nigeria's leaders together outside the pressure of home soil under the calm of Ghanaian air to negotiate a future they all claim to believe in. A Nigeria with justice, autonomy, and peace. Yet, as we've seen, what was agreed in principle at Aburi was undone in practice back in Lagos.
You know why Biafra is fighting?
Misinterpretation, mistrust, and political fear replaced the spirit of compromise. In that silence between promise and implementation, Nigeria lost its last real chance to avoid war. The story of Aburi Accord teaches us something profound. Peace is not just about signing agreements, it's about honoring them. Believe you me, if this was actually honored, there wouldn't have been anything related to Nigerian civil war. Understanding each other's fear and building trust through actions, not words, is key. As Nigeria continues to evolve, the lessons of Aburi remains relevant, that no country can endure on central power alone, and no region can survive in isolation. Unity is a process built on equity, not by force. So thank you for staying with us on this deep dive into a critical moment in Nigeria's history. If you found this video enlightening, please give it a like, share it, and most importantly, join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification so you will never miss another historic breakdown, political analysis, and untold truth that shapes our understanding of Nigeria and Africa as a whole.
Another Savior, holy, 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 Adimebujuku, another Savior, holy, holy.
To my audience, could the civil war have been avoided if Gowon had spoken after the Aburi? The public statement. To me, my short answer is yes. But what do you think? Could that single speech have changed Nigeria's fate? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What is sitting right here is that Gowon's silence after Aburi left a dangerous vacuum and Ojukwu filled it with a voice that eventually led to Biafra. In the end, silence didn't just speak louder than words, it might have spoken war. So what do you think? Could that single speech have changed Nigeria's fate? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold moments shaped our history.